everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, I'm proud to present an up-close and personal, in-depth look with the Porsche 918 Spyder. This particular example is equipped with the optional Weissach package. Big thanks and shout out to McLaren of Philadelphia for providing this opportunity today. For more information about the dealership, including contact info and current inventory, please feel free to check out their website provided in the description box below. This will be an in-depth review, but we'll start it up talking about performance in the hybrid electric powertrain. Of course, we'll get plenty of sound clips and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, and let her run. We'll discuss what's included with the Weissach package later in the video, but these cars typically came unpainted for weight savings and had a matte black vinyl wrap applied to it. However, upon request, Porsche would paint the car in any solid color of your choice. This one's obviously finished in gloss black compared to a black leather interior with the available light gray piping. To start, just like any Porsche, you take the key fob and insert it into the slot on the left-hand side of the dash, but you can actually power the 918 on two different ways. Being that it has a hybrid electric powertrain, it starts up in electric mode by default, but if you wanted to start it up with the gasoline engine, you just turn it to the right once without putting your foot on the brake. You can put it into either race mode or sport mode via the dial on the steering wheel right here, and then simply put your foot on the brake, flick it to the right to go. Otherwise, like I said, if you just let the car do its own thing and go ahead and start it up, electric mode engages by default. The 918 uses electromechanical power steering with a varying ratio between 16.6 to 1 on center and 12.25 to 1 when at full lock. It's all routed through a beautifully detailed 3-spoke multifunction steering wheel. With the Weissach package, the standard leather wrapping is swapped out for Alcantara, but it still retains the color band at the top, in addition to upper grip bolsters and hollowed out brushed aluminum spokes with gloss black inserts. The steering takes 2.3 turns to lock, while the car has a turning circle of 41.7 feet. Along with adaptive dampers, the 918 also features rear wheel steering similar to what you would find on a 911 Turbo. By using an electromechanical motor at each rear wheel, adjustments are able to be made by up to 3 degrees in either direction based on your speed of travel. At low speeds, they turn in the opposite direction of the front wheels to reduce the turning circle, virtually shortening the wheelbase. At higher speeds, they steer in the same direction as the front, virtually extending the wheelbase to enhance agility and stability. With an entirely new hybrid powertrain, Porsche's PDK dual-clutch automatic transmission gets a full redesign to optimize it for the 918's level of performance. It's engaged by an electronic lever on the dash to the right of the steering column. Just press the brake and move it to the desired position. A backup camera and electronic parking brake come standard. Of course, the car can be driven like any other automatic transmission, but manual shifting can be performed via the steering wheel paddles. With the Weissach package, the paddles are carbon fiber instead of the standard aluminum. Gear changes occur in just 50 milliseconds. One of the hallmarks in designing the 918 was to place the heavier components in between the axles and as deep within the chassis as possible. This not only led to an optimized weight distribution of 43% in front and 57% in the rear, but it also led to a very low center of gravity. One of the engineering challenges was fitting the PDK to ensure the layout was possible. The gear unit was subsequently rotated 180 degrees about its longitudinal axis. In other words, it is placed upside down compared to what you would typically see in other Porsches. Torque Vectoring Plus is applied to the rear axle, which selectively brakes the rear wheels through corners for greater agility, traction, and stability. It works in conjunction with an electronically controlled rear differential lock. Another cool thing is the 918's coasting feature, which allows the PDK to be decoupled from the engine in certain instances when you lift off the throttle for greater fuel efficiency. An auto start-stop feature is standard. Toward the bottom right of the steering wheel is a small dial that houses 5 different driving modes, including e-Power, Hybrid, Sport Hybrid, Race Hybrid, and Hot Lap. E-Power is the default when you first start the car. In this mode, with enough charge, the 918 will operate as a fully electric vehicle with the engine kicking in only when needed. Switching the car to hybrid mode causes the electric motors and engine to work together alternately, similar to any traditional hybrid, to maximize efficiency based on the current driving situation. In Sport Hybrid, the engine becomes the main source of propulsion and runs continuously while the electric motors serve as boosters, optimizing power, delivery, and efficiency for performance-focused driving. Race Hybrid takes it one step further by increasing the load placed on the engine, simultaneously charging the battery more aggressively when maximum output isn't utilized. The electric motors still serve as boosters, but unlike Sport Hybrid mode, they're used up to the maximum power output for shorter periods of time in order to deliver the best possible performance on the racetrack. With greater output from the electric motors and more aggressive recharging, the battery charge never stays consistent and fluctuates over the entire charge range. The end goal is to maintain a proper level of electric charge even after repeated fast laps around a track. The last mode, known as Hot Lap, is engaged by the red button in the middle of the dial, but only when you're already in Race Hybrid mode. Here, the battery is pushed to its max power output for a handful of laps, using all of the available energy in the battery. Porsche compares this to a qualification mode.
So let's go and flip on the automatic LED headlamps, fog lamp, as well as the hazards. Of course, both windows are fully automatic, so let's go ahead and hop back out and check out the exterior, shall we?
There's been a handful of times in the last few years where I've talked about how lucky we all are to live in such an exciting time in automotive history. All of the innovation and advancements in both design and engineering, especially in the last 5 years, have created some of the most incredible and memorable vehicles of all time. You must have an appreciation for where things came from to understand where things are heading. With buzzwords like hybrid, efficiency, and emissions constantly being tossed around, the future may seem uncertain for the traditional auto enthusiast, but technology is not always bad. Take the 918 Spyder for example. It's one of the quickest production cars in the world and the most powerful Porsche ever built. Plus, it's a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid for that matter. While similar in concept to the McLaren P1 and the Ferrari LaFerrari, the 918 combines its race-derived V8 engine with 2 electric motors, one at the front and one at the rear, making it the only one out of the 3 with all-wheel drive functionality. After the initial concept debuted back in 2010, the production-ready 918 was launched in the latter part of 2013, followed by a 21-month development period, of which a total of 918 cars were produced at a starting price of around $845,000. It represents the continuation of a long lineage of Porsche supercars, including the Carrera GT, the 911 GT1, the 959, and the 904 Carrera GTS. The previous cars were technology innovators of their time, everything from lightweight designs to all-wheel drive systems, carbon fiber construction, and so much more. Likewise, the 918 is an innovator for future hybrid technology, with respect to enhancing how the car drives, delivering higher thresholds of performance, handling, and efficiency. It also represents a culmination of lessons learned through Porsche's many years of motorsports involvement. The name 918 continues the historical lineage of the Porsche 917 race car, which captured the brand's first wins at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1970 and 1971. Like the Carrera GT, the 918's chassis begins around a carbon fiber reinforced plastic monocoque. It's built on a rolling chassis concept, which makes the car completely operational even without the body panels. The chassis incorporates all of the structural elements, mechanical bits, and electrical systems. Wheelbase length and overall height are pretty much identical to the Carrera GT, but the 918's body is about an inch longer and wider. Unlike the LaFerrari and P1, the 918 has 2 removable carbon fiber roof panels for a unique open-top experience. They're relatively easy to remove and can be stowed within the luggage compartment. They don't add to structural rigidity, which is why the carbon fiber tub is so important in making the car lightweight, extremely rigid, and safe. The body panels, for the most part, are also made from carbon fiber and are beautifully sculpted to provide a functional benefit with regards to cooling and general aerodynamics. The proportions and styling of the 918 is breathtaking, combining elegance with a sense of aggression. With the $84,000 Weissach package you see here, emphasis is placed on shedding about 90 pounds of weight over the standard car. One big thing, which we'll discuss more in just a bit, is the addition of super lightweight magnesium wheels with ceramic wheel bearings, in addition to a weight-optimized braking system with titanium components and additional aerodynamic winglets on the front and rear fascias for greater downforce. By default, 918s with this package don't come with a paint finish, but a matte black vinyl wrap applied to the entire body. Not having paint actually saves 2.3 kilograms or 5.06 pounds. In addition to the black vinyl wrap, you can also opt for either Martini Racing or Salzburg Racing livery. Of course, as shown here, you can also opt to have the car painted in any solid color of your choice. Underneath the skin, the standard steel fasteners that attach the subframes to the central tub and suspension control arms are replaced by titanium fasteners, which cost a whole lot more per produce but weigh 60% less. Other unique bits include a carbon fiber rear anti-roll bar instead of the standard steel part, and a carbon fiber prop rod in the luggage compartment versus having gas-charged struts. If you wanted to take things a step further, the standard Weissach specification can be had without an audio system or air conditioning. With this package, the 918 is able to set a lap time around the north loop of the Nürburgring of just 6 minutes 57 seconds. At the time, it was the fastest for any production car with street tires, and probably still true to this day. The 918's parallel hybrid system develops a combined 887 horsepower and 944 pound-feet of torque. Quite a lot of that is available in the lower RPMs. It can accelerate to 60 miles an hour in just 2.5 seconds and fly through the quarter mile in 10 seconds flat while traveling 145 miles per hour. You can travel up to 93 miles per hour on pure electric power and hit 60 in just over 6 seconds. With the Weissach package, top-end performance is marginally quicker. The soul, though, of the 918 is a mid-matted, naturally aspirated 4.6-liter V8 engine that's loosely based on Porsche's RS Spyder race car. Between it and the transmission is a 156 horsepower permanent magnet AC synchronous electric motor. All-wheel drive functionality comes from the separate electric motor on the front axle that produces 129 horsepower. The engine by itself develops 608 horsepower at 8,700 RPM and 398 pound-feet of torque at 6,700 RPM, which equals 132 horsepower per liter. In comparison, the Carrera GT rang in at 106 horsepower per liter. The block and heads are made from aluminum, while the valve train consists of dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, and Porsche's VarioCam Plus system. Fuel is delivered via direct injection, and there's 2-stage dry sump lubrication. The compression ratio is rated at 13.5 to 1, accompanied by an incredible 9,150 RPM redline. The entire powertrain sits ahead of the rear axle and has no direct mechanical connection to the front. It's supported by a carbon fiber subframe that bolts directly to the carbon central tub. Unlike traditional engine designs, the 918 supports no auxiliary systems, eliminating any accessory belt drives, which keeps the engine especially compact for its displacement. One example of this is the air conditioning compressor, which resides behind the front electric motor within a magnesium housing. For additional weight savings, a variety of components such as the oil tank, air filter box, and the air induction system are also made from carbon fiber. With lightweight internals such as titanium connecting rods, a flat steel crankshaft, and a thin-walled Inconel exhaust system, Porsche claims the engine weighs just 309 pounds. The additional electric motor up front drives the wheels at a fixed ratio. At speeds greater than 146 miles an hour, it's actually decoupled from the axle to prevent the motor from over-revving. A 6.8 kilowatt-hour liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack sits behind the rear bulkhead along with an 18.5-gallon fuel tank. The top-mounted exhaust pipes are certainly a unique touch and help alleviate heat quicker than if the pipes were routed through the back. Therefore, the hot side is actually located within the V between the cylinder banks, while the air intake channels are on the outside of the engine. This ensures the engine compartment stays cooler and the battery's ideal temperature is maintained. The charge port is located on the passenger side B pillar. When plugged into a standard 110-volt outlet, it takes about 7 hours to charge, or about 2.5 hours when a 220-volt outlet is used. Porsche also offers a 20 kilowatt speed charging station, which drops charging times to as little as 30 minutes. The global warranty period for the battery is 7 years. As far as fuel economy, the 918 is expected to average 22 miles to a gallon when using the combustion engine and 67 miles per gallon equivalent when using electric power. The 918 comes with 20 by 9.5 inch wheels in front and 21 by 12.5 inch wheels in the rear. Out of the 3 available wheel options, these magnesium wheels are added with the Weissach package and shed just under 33 pounds of weight over the standard forged aluminum alloys. With these wheels, you also receive motorsport-derived red wheel nuts on the left side and blue wheel nuts on the right side. Sticky Y-rated Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires measure 265/35 in front and 325/30 in the rear, allowing the 918 to pull upwards of 1.1 G of lateral acceleration. The car has been tested to stop from 60 miles an hour in about 95 feet thanks to a huge set of cross-drilled and internally ventilated carbon ceramic disc brakes. Up front, they measure 16.1 by 1.3 inches, while the rear comes in at 15.4 by 1.3 inches. They're clamped down by 6-piston and 4-piston calipers respectively. Brake energy regeneration provides an added measure of deceleration while capturing energy for the battery. Both stability control and traction control are standard, with each being fully defeatable via a pair of buttons in the top of the interior center stack. The aluminum intensive suspension consists of double wishbones in front and a multi-link rear with 2 motor adaptive dampers and the rear wheel steering system I mentioned earlier. On top of that, an optional electric front-end lift system can help clear curbs and steep driveways. Again, similar to the P1 and LaFerrari, the 918's active aerodynamics constantly adjust between high and low downforce positions based on what the car determines is necessary relative to the drive mode you're in. The complete system includes a pair of underfloor diffusers in front of the front axle, a retractable rear wing, and a spoiler at the trailing edge of the car's airflow in between the 2 wing supports. When in race mode, the car is on full attack. Everything is extended and open as far as they'll go to maximize downforce and stability around a track. At 186 miles per hour, the car is developing 657 pounds of downforce. Sport mode reduces the angle of the rear wing and closes the front underfloor flaps to allow for a higher top speed, but the rear spoiler remains extended. In e-power mode, priority is placed on low aerodynamic drag, so the wing, spoiler, and underfloor flaps are closed. In the lower front fascia, there's adjustable air flaps beneath the LED headlamps. In race and sport modes, they remain open for maximum air intake for cooling. They'll close in e-power and hybrid modes to minimize drag and remain closed until you hit about 81 miles per hour or when extra cooling is needed. Overall length is 182.9 inches with a width of 76.4 inches and a height of 45.95 inches. It rides on a 107.5 inch wheelbase and has a curb weight around 3,692 pounds. The interior of the 918 Spyder is a beautifully crafted environment that blends a motorsports feel with impressive refinement and attention to detail. Padded material is used only when absolutely necessary. Everywhere else you'll find exposed carbon fiber, both satin and glossy finishes that aren't just for show but part of the car's structure. The dash layout and central control bridge is a modern adaptation of the style first seen in the Carrera GT. Extending down from the upper dash and into the console between the seats, it visually divides the passenger compartment, keeping all of the necessary controls focused towards the driver and giving the cabin an airy feel with its floating design. It also incorporates an all-new touch panel that houses everything from the infotainment system to climate settings, but we'll talk about that more in just a bit. Porsche offered the 918 with a handful of interior color options, including the option of authentic leather or Alcantara inserts. Along with that, there were 3 options for accent piping depending on which color you went with. The gray you see here, orange, and acid green. The latter is especially striking. Standard 918s also feature quite a bit of brushed aluminum trim pieces, but with the Weissach package, the majority of the aluminum is swapped out for visible carbon fiber. Also available as a standalone option, the carbon fiber package covers the center section across the dashboard, center console surround, door sills, and gear shift panels. It all nicely complements the dark chrome handles and air vents. The seating position is 4 cm or 1.57 inches lower than the Carrera GT, which not only helps lower the center of gravity, but it also allows for greater interior room, especially headroom. The seats are manually adjusting one-piece carbon fiber buckets that slide both fore and aft 60 mm or about 2.36 inches, leading to excellent legroom for taller people. Electric height adjustment is standard for the driver and optional for the passenger. The flexibility leads to one of, if not the most accommodating cars in its class. In fact, if you wanted to take things one step further, there's actually 2 seating options. This one and a more aggressive lightweight seating option with firmer padding. The standard seats already have excellent lateral and shoulder support with a surprising amount of comfort, but the firmer padding is said to grip you even tighter and is probably more suited for those who regularly take their cars to the track. The headrests are fixed and feature an embossed Porsche crest and 918 Spyder embroidery. The steering wheel is manually adjusting. There's not much storage aside from a modest glove box and center console cubby, but a 5-piece custom-fitted luggage set was also offered to take advantage of what usable space there was. Keeping both occupants well protected are 2-stage front airbags, door-mounted head airbags, and seat-mounted thorax airbags. In addition to the standard 3-point safety belts, which feature pre-tensioners, Motorsports-derived 6-point seat belts included with the Weissach package can be hand-installed for greater security around the track.
Now let's go ahead and see how she sounds.
The 918 is equipped to a very high specification as standard, including a Burmester high-end surround sound system, a full infotainment system with navigation and satellite radio, and dual-zone climate control. The bespoke stereo is specifically designed for the layout of this cabin. It puts out 500 watts of power and consists of 11 speakers. The total setup weighs just 4 kilograms or 8.82 pounds. On top of that, with the Porsche Car Connect smartphone app, it gives you the ability to access data and control various functions remotely, such as checking the battery charge, fuel level, managing the charging process, and even seeing whether your windows are down. The controls are divided into 2 functional areas, the multifunction steering wheel that you saw earlier and the touch-sensitive ascending central console. The 7-inch vertical screen is where you control the majority of features from radio and media to navigation, telephone, and settings. The 8-inch display up in the dash serves as a large information display for certain features like navigation. There's 2 USB ports in the center console and hands-free Bluetooth technology. Up top you have your visors, LED interior illumination, as well as garage HomeLink. There's also a removable carbon fiber wind deflector that you can put up when you remove the roof panels.
Alrighty. Let's go shut her down. Pop the boot. We'll check out trunk space.
Like I said earlier, the standard 918 has gas-charged struts to hold up the front clamshell, but with the Weissach package, those are replaced by a carbon fiber prop rod. Inside, you have a modest amount of space. It's about 3.7 cubic feet worth, just enough space to stow the 2 removable carbon fiber roof covers. Apparently, with that optional 5-piece custom-fitted luggage set like I talked about earlier, there are pieces that will fit alongside those roof panels to take advantage of all extra space possible. Here you can also see a lot of the exposed carbon fiber bodywork, have access to your windshield washer reservoir, and see some of the ducting right behind the wheels to channel air down the body to alleviate positive pressure in the wheel wells. To close the hood, all you have to do is just push it down and give a firm press to either side adjacent to the headlights. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the Porsche 918 Spyder. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.
Mm-hmm.